Yeah, so I am launching Do Your Dharma 2.0, the new and improved version. And I wanted to talk to you about it because you set a really big goal when you were in the course last year, and I'd love you to talk about that. Like what the goal you set and what you learned about goal setting and how you made it happen.
Yeah, well, first of all, you guys should definitely check out this course because there's a lot of great information that I gained from it and that I know everybody else will find value in. But for me, I really wanted to start a podcast. And it's hard whenever you set a big goal that has lots of moving pieces because it can get overwhelming. So you say, oh, I want to start a podcast, but there's a billion steps involved with starting it. And sometimes whenever we have a goal, we get paralyzed by all the steps to start the goal. So in the course, we did the book, The 12-Week Year. We read that book, and that book is specifically about a system around goal setting. And that was really helpful for me because it made me create structure around my goal. And then it created accountability because within the group, we all talk about our goals out loud, and having that supportive community was awesome because not everybody supports one another out in our daily normal lives. So having that supportive group and just other people with the same mindset and same type of goals in their life was helpful.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so, yeah, I will link up to your podcast so everyone can check it out. And you actually got the author of that book on your podcast, which is so cool.
Yeah, I thought, well, why not? Like, this book was great. And yeah, he's on the show. So guys should definitely check it out. But it's about where goals fail. And the author, Brian P. Moran, says, look to your daily actions. And it's true. With our goals, if we stop working at it, we lose momentum. So the course also helps you stay on track because every single week you're meeting, you're talking about things, and you get all these new tools that maybe you didn't have before. Like maybe you are already really good at goal setting, which I was coming into the course, but it helped having that constant weekly update and the writing it down and having all the people around to support that goal. So yeah, and I got the podcast going, and I haven't missed a week. It's been really good.
So awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and it is really about, like, I love that you said it's about your daily actions, and that's what I focus on in the course and in all my courses is what are the daily habits that are leading you towards your goals and to help you become the person that you want to be and the best version of yourself and the ideal life that you really ultimately want to create. So, goal setting is one aspect of it, but it's really so much also about how we're showing up and mindset and how we're like living in our day-to-day habits and in our relationships and stepping into your purpose. So getting really clear around what your purpose is and even looking at your space, the space that you're living in and really refining that. I saw you took that and ran with it with your garage. I saw your garage, and you've taken that whole space clearing to like another level in your garage.
Yeah, it definitely feels really good. Like there's actually another book called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And one of the principles is to not have clutter everywhere. And I'm really bad about that because I travel a lot. So there's always stuff everywhere. But when stuff has a place, then you don't have clutter. And clutter actually does suck away your energy. Like it's subconscious. But when you look at it, there is something in your brain that connects with that. And it literally takes away energy because you are subconsciously thinking about, oh, I have to clear that space up eventually.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we start with the decluttering, because it does get in the way, and just to get clarity on what it is that you want. If you've got stuff distracting you constantly and you can't think clearly, you can't, take deliberate action. So and this space is where everything arises. Like even in Ayurveda, it starts with space and all the elements come out of space. So getting your space in order is always a first step.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention that you've been on the podcast as well, and that's been actually a really popular show. So you guys listening to this, definitely check out Donna's podcast, or Donna's on my show, because she was awesome. She was really good.
Yeah, that was totally fun. And so I've done a little interview with you before because you won the world champion a couple of years ago now?
Yeah, in 2015, I was the 24-hour endurance world champion.
Yeah, which is amazing. And so you've accomplished a lot in your life. So why did you choose to take the course? It's like you've done so much already, and why did you feel like you wanted that? I mean, you read like all those books and you figured out so much on your own?
Yeah, so I attribute my success to commitment to personal growth. And personal growth isn't always a solo endeavor. So I signed up for this course because I really wanted to have community around me. And having community around you is really important because it's a support network, and it doesn't only hold you accountable. And accountable, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. And in the podcast with Brian P. Moran, he's like, accountability isn't like we're holding someone accountable, but having people around you where you can say things out loud. And then in the course, it was particularly helpful for me to have space to journal, because in my daily life, I always say, yeah, I'm going to take 10 minutes every morning and journal. And it doesn't happen because I get distracted. So having that space where I actually am going to sit down and journal is really helpful, and having the people around me where I can talk to them, and I'll also provide support to them. And it also increases your purpose. So there's lots of studies on purpose out there, and your motivation for what you're doing is higher when there's other people involved. So I think that also helps with goal setting in a group setting, because you accomplishing your goal is also helping all the people around you, because they get to see what you're doing and it motivates them. So I think, again, back to the daily and weekly actions, having the course where you can connect on a weekly basis with everybody, it helps flood your senses with really important motivational things. It reminds you what's important to you and reminds you of what your purpose is, because we get so busy in our daily life, it's really easy to forget those things. So I find a lot of value in that. And also being able to stay connected via the Facebook group after the course is over is really cool, and get to see what people are doing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and the thing is, often we'll have goals or we know what we should be doing, but often until we invest in something like a course and we commit to a certain process that takes us through kind of a step-by-step way of doing things, like you're right, there's so many distractions. It's easier and easier to get distracted. There's a lot of bright, shiny objects out there, and we have, we're all suffering a little bit of FOMO from that. So until we actually decide, I'm going to do this, I'm going to put my energy here, and then really move forward in this area and really make something happen, it's so hard to stay on track, because again, it's just so easy to get pulled away by life and busyness, and so that's.
Yeah, I think putting skin in the game in anything you're doing is a great way to make you do it. And it's not unpleasant to do it, but again, like you said, it's just hard. And like another example is piano. Like I've been wanting to learn piano. I had to go, and I know how to teach myself the basics, but I had to pay a piano teacher to just help me get started, even though I knew everything she was already saying. Sometimes it just really helps invest, and investing in yourself is the most important thing that you could possibly do. And joining a course isn't going to solve all your problems. It's not an end-all be-all, but it gives you the tools along the way, and it paves your pathway a little bit more to personal growth. And there's still going to be bumps along the road, but continually investing in that and spending your time and your money, like what better thing to spend money on than your health and your well-being and your ability to achieve things in your life? Like that is, in my opinion, that's the best possible way to spend your money.
Yeah, and having the support during the challenge is really priceless, because if you do want to make things happen, it's going to be hard and it's going to be challenging, and it makes it so much easier to deal with those challenges when you are not alone, and when you have a safe space and a really accepting, non-judgmental community that you can connect to, that is there to listen and to be there and to cheer you on and encourage you. That's really, like, I think the biggest thing that often, that's why I've had like people repeat the course 3 times, because it's you just can't get that anywhere else, having that community, that supportive community. So what has been like your biggest takeaway from the course, if you could narrow it down to one thing or a few things?
My biggest takeaway has actually been the books, because a lot of the books that you bring up were books I didn't know about, and having like a book club type atmosphere where you get to discuss the books is really cool. So I actually do kind of miss that now the course is over for me, and I think that having that is really, all the tools you learn from the books has been my best takeaway. And also just, again, realizing, because a lot of times when we're working towards something, we just put our head down and just go, and taking the time to have community around you and have support. It was a good reminder for me because I typically just go do it. And I'm trying to build community around myself now that the course is over to help support me in my goals as well. And that's also in the 12-week year, how you should have a group that you check in with on a regular basis, because it's hard to get out of your own head sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. I know. Yeah. Once you have that, I found for me too, once I have that system, I always want that kind of accountability system because it does make such a big difference. So yeah, well, thank you so much, Sonya. And
yeah,
we'll be keeping each other accountable.
That's right.
Checking in. All right. Well, have a good day. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much, Donna.
All right. Bye.
Bye.